Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours?
You know, what's happening in the news now. Is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm.
So Morgan Freeman is with us today, and I've read up, obviously, on things that you've said in the past about Dr. Martin Luther King. And you had said this, Dr. Martin Luther King is not a black hero. He is an American
hero.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
All right, folks, let's dive into the incredible world of Morgan Freeman, the legendary actor, the voice of wisdom, and the man whose presence commands respect in every scene. He's delivered some of the most iconic performances in film history. But beyond the silver screen, he stepped into the ring on one of today's most heated debates: woke culture. From racial issues to gender identities, Freeman's wise and thought-provoking critiques offer a refreshing perspective. Stick around as we explore his unapologetic truths that might just reshape the way you think about unity and equality. And hey, if you're enjoying content like this, hit subscribe to join our community of critical thinkers. Now let's dive in.
What happened is, as I began to push actors into that thing, that's the kind of performance I started to get. Because I had already imposed something on them, as opposed to letting me see what they were doing and saying, well, I can work with that.
I think a good director, and this isn't my saying, this was something I heard from Mike.
Morgan Freeman's career began during a challenging time when Hollywood was a tough place for minorities. Opportunities were scarce and stereotypes ruled the industry. Over the years, Hollywood claimed to transform into an inclusive space for all. But Freeman called this so-called utopia an illusion.
You sort of categorize people, it tends to dilute their importance. Referring to Dr. Martin Luther King as a black hero, it lessens his stature. He's an American hero.
Freeman didn't hold back in sharing how this dynamic personally affected him. Hollywood often used him as a token of success to promote their narrative of inclusivity, but Freeman saw through it. He believed this framing reduced genuine struggles into superficial narratives, undermining the real achievements of minorities.
Black History Month you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
One of Freeman's most famous moments of candor came during an interview with Don Lemon. When Lemon suggested success was tied to racial privilege, Freeman delivered a clear and powerful rebuttal, shattering the simplistic narratives around race and success.
Yes, I think that profiling is still a big problem we have here. We talked about stop and search in New York. That's obvious profiling because most of the people they stop and search are black and Hispanic.
Freeman's no-nonsense approach made him a target for the woke mob, a vocal group aiming to silence dissenting voices. Yet Freeman stood firm. He rejected the narrative that minorities are perpetual victims, calling it disempowering and patronizing.
The whole thing, especially the president and Democrats now are talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves.
Quick reminder, if you're finding value in this discussion, hit subscribe to help us reach more curious minds like yours. Thanks for the support. Freeman also critiqued Hollywood's approach to diversity, where race-swapping characters became a trend. He believed this practice often disrespected original stories, sacrificing authenticity in favor of superficial appeal.
Once you've cast a part, that's it. You're out of that part of it. now you're directing the movie. You're not directing actors. Most directors, Ed's good case in point. Clint Eastwood is a good case in point. They have nothing to say to actors except this is where you're going to start, and you know you've already got your mark.
Freeman argued that Hollywood's focus on surface-level diversity compromised storytelling integrity. Authenticity was often lost, alienating viewers who value genuine narratives over forced representation.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it.
Freeman didn't stop there. In an interview with 60 Minutes, he criticized the concept of Black History Month, calling it ridiculous. He argued that isolating Black history into a single month diminished its importance, advocating instead for integration into the broader narrative of American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Freeman's disdain for labels extended beyond this. In another interview, he expressed frustration with the term African American. He found it divisive and preferred to be identified simply as black, emphasizing unity over separation.
You called it bull when you said people can't, you know, pull themselves up. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't or
Today?
cannot? Yeah.
No,
You don't?
no, I don't. You and I, we're proof.
To Freeman, terms like African American created unnecessary divisions. He called for a shift in how society uses language, advocating for shared humanity over labels that highlight differences.
We move on.
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is a problem.
Freeman also took aim at the media for perpetuating divisive narratives. In his conversation with Don Lemon, he highlighted how sensationalism fuels tensions, prioritizing profits over societal harmony.
I don't think wealth and genetics have anything to do with each other, actually. If you're born in the U.S., it really doesn't matter the condition of your birth. Mm-hmm. What matters is what you inherit from your nurturing, from your environment. Whether or not you're going, I'm just from the standpoint of having been born with little.
Freeman's critique of sensationalism was a call for balance and integrity in reporting. He warned that focusing on polarizing topics eroded social unity, turning important conversations into clickbait.
This country. And I expect that by the time we've solved that problem, we will have developed others. So, life goes on.
I see what you're saying. Chaos and calm, right?
Cancel culture didn't escape Freeman's sharp observations. He argued that it stifles free speech, discourages open dialogue, and creates a homogenized way of thinking. His commitment to authenticity and integrity stood as a bold challenge to this trend.
This is where you're going to start, and you've already got your marks, and the camera's going to be here, blah, 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 blah. Acting is your job. That's what I got. To me, that's a good director.
Freeman's concerns extended to societal values. He warned that ideological agendas often overshadow individual merit and hard work. True progress, he believed, comes from resilience, respect, and mutual understanding, not pandering to vocal minorities.
With little, you can always get out of that. Poverty is just...
But environment effects.
Yeah. Say you're born as one of the untouchables in India. Mm-hmm. There you are. And if you're born into the super rich, there you are. Here, you can be born to the super rich, but 3-4 generations down the line, it's gone.
While Freeman's views have made him a polarizing figure, they've also sparked essential conversations about society's direction. He reminds us that genuine progress stems from fostering understanding, not just following trends.
Where do you feel like we are in race relations in America 50 years after the I Have a Dream speech?
Yeah, I'm like everybody else. I think we've come quite a long way, but we had so far to go, and we still have. Morgan Freeman's stance against woke culture is about more than resisting trends.
It's a call for truth, integrity, and individuality. His courage to speak out, even in the face of criticism, inspires us all to value honesty over superficial narratives. What does real progress look like in a world divided by labels and agendas? Can we move past superficial gestures to focus on individuality, respect, and shared humanity? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into culture, free speech, and fearless voices like Morgan Freeman's. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.